What's up, everyone? Welcome to The Heroic Ethic. I'm your host, Liberty Bill. So this is an impromptu episode, an unplanned video that I wasn't expecting to make. I'm currently working on the nihilism video, and I do expect to release that in a couple of days. But I felt the need to make this video because I am so personally stunned and saddened and reflective right now about heroism. And since I have a heroism channel, I thought it would be appropriate to share. So, spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about BORUTO number 55. It's a manga in the long-running and extremely popular series Naruto. This is a series that I personally love. I've watched every episode of the anime with my oldest son, who's now 19, and I've watched every episode with my daughter, who is now 11, and I expect to watch it soon with my youngest son, who is now 10. Because to me, it is one of the greatest heroic journeys of all time. For me personally, I might even list it number one. I'd have to think about it. But it has been extremely impactful for me. It's a very long-running series. And in BORUTO number 55, we experience a major death that has just gotten me to be reflective. I'm very sad. This is all unscripted. This is very raw. So thanks for bearing with me. But I do think it's relevant. So, there's a point to this. So the great thing about Naruto to me has always been that while, of course, it's a superhero type manga. So he's, defeating villains and epic fights and all of that. But he always understood the philosophy of benevolence that is so intrinsic to being a hero. I mean, this is a kid who had everything stacked against him. He grew up ostracized by his community and isolated because he was cursed with this demon fox that was inside of him, this malevolent, powerful force that had attacked his village, had killed his parents, and kept trying to corrupt Naruto and influence him to the path of evil. And not only did Naruto never succumb, but he, in fact, changed the very nature of the evil within him, right? This is all very metaphorical. And so time and time again throughout the series, Naruto would, infamously to some people, always talk to his enemies, right? He would have to defeat them first. Of course, he understood the third pillar of power and that truth, justice, and benevolence don't have any bearing if the villains win. So he would defeat them, but then he would talk to them and he would try to get them to see the error of their ways and that their behavior and their actions and their approaches weren't getting them what they intended to get. And very often he would be able to turn them to the side of good. And that included the demon fox within him, right? Over time, he was able to befriend this demon fox and ultimately turn it into a force for good. And together they became an even more powerful force for good. And this was always in contrast to Naruto's rival, Sasuke, because Naruto would always take the path of benevolence and of trying to be friends and understanding that we're all stronger together. And Sasuke would take the path of, eschewing all of his relationships, focusing only on developing his internal power and destroying, everything in his path to get the goal that he wanted. Whereas Naruto would try to get everyone to come together and compromise and work together for the betterment of all. And so that was always a fantastic theme throughout the series. And now it's come full circle in BORUTO number 55. The demon fox sacrifices himself to save Naruto, to save the day. And it's just such a journey from being this animal full of rage and power to someone who understands the, to at least help people when it's easy, and to more impressively do so when the cost is high, when the cost was his very own life. And so it's really impactful for me. And again, it is a metaphor, right? Remember that this demon fox was like buried inside of Naruto and was trying to influence him and corrupt him. We all have such a demon fox. Young called it the shadow. But, we're all animals trying to become something better, right? I mean, we have animal instincts. As babies, we're nothing but. And our journey into adulthood is to become something better, something more than an animal that lives in the now and acts on its every emotion, acts on its rage, acts on its desire to get what it wants at the expense of everybody else. And we feel that, right? We're human beings. We've done stuff that we're not proud of. And we all have moments now where it's like, God, nobody's going to know. I could benefit, this guy would lose out, but no one's going to know. And we have to fight that. And so in terms of heroism, I encourage people to take a hero name. But more than that, I even encourage you to name your shadow, because integrating the shadow, coming to terms with who we are at the core and our instincts is extremely important. I call my shadow the Devastator. And it is something that can give me great power, but is also prone to rage and anger and revenge and, getting what I want more at the expense of other people. And it's something that helps me on the basketball court, right? When I harness it, it gives me power, but it can also tempt you. And so we must be able to defeat that. And that's one of the reasons that I've created the heroic ethic, because that thing which makes us better is our minds, our reason, our logic, and our ability to see things over a longer period of time than just the present. We can abstract lessons from the past to gain lessons for the future, and an understanding that sometimes calls for sacrifice in the present. And so if we can harness this fox inside of us, we can become stronger, but we need to use our reason to harness it and to turn it towards the good. And that's why I've created a rigorous system that makes rigorous arguments as to why we should be good. I mean, I'm going to make a rational defense of the pillar of benevolence and the third simple rule of at least helping people when it's easy and maximizing Pareto optimization. So anyway, I guess I probably shouldn't ramble too long. I just felt that it was pertinent to heroism, these feelings that I've got right now based on this manga that I read. And I just wanted to share, and I'm curious to hear in the comments about how this sort of thing has impacted you, right? Have you had any similar experiences where you just want to freaking cry? And yeah, it's very sad, man. A hero has died, and that's never fun to think about. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. This has been The Heroic Ethic. I'm your host, Liberty Bill. Please tune in next time when I talk about nihilism. See you then.